Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We have Prabhupada quotes. The individual soul is forever a servant of the super soul, and therefore his relationship with the super soul is to offer service. That is called Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Bhava. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We have Prabhupada quotes. To become free from sinful life, there is only one simple method. If you surrender to Krishna, that is the beginning of bhakti. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we have Sadhak Seva announcement text. Sadhak Seva means practical Seva opportunities to help each other in different situations like job search, business referral, house search, finding loans officers, taxes help, legal help, health-related help, matrimony-related, and many other types of help. Sadhak Seva means we should not only help motivating others for japa, but also help in other practical ways. Everyone who is a member of Japa conference must also help everyone else in a more practical sense. Presently, please share your name and number through EverydayChant Harinam Japa WhatsApp group, or email to everydaychant@gmail.com. Thanks. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namav Sarvevya Sushvagatam. Bhaktaganam Kripya Stanamevam Vasanagrinam Vadatu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Surinder Bhandari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद प्रभुजी. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा मम नाम हरप्रसाद पुणे नगरे वसामि गुरु महाराज की जय प्रभुपाद की जय मैं ऑल सिंपल डिवोटीज की हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद प्रभुजी. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, मम नाम हलधर दास, हम श्रीमूड नगरे वसामि प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय. My humble obeisance to all the devotees on the phone call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद प्रभुजी. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा मम नाम विकास कुलकर्णी हम टोरंटो नगरे वसामी गुरु महाराज की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. My humble obeisances to all the devotees on the call.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद प्रभुजी. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Ashwini from Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is Rita from Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, धन्यवाद Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to announce their names? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, did we cover verse 28 last time? Or should we start verse 28 from here?
No, we need to start 28, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading chapter 17, the divisions of faith, text number 28. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the Mangalachan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jakalpataruਭ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we will be doing verse 28, and this is the last chapter of this verse. So it's going to be a bit interesting. So we'll start with the reading of this verse. Hare Krishna, Halada Prabhuji, would you like to help us in the recitation of this verse?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad. So it in English Bhagavad Gita, page number 658, chapter 17, text number 28. So the Sanskrit words are Ashraddhaya, Utam Dattam, Tapastaptam, Kritam Chayat, or Kritam Chayat. Asadityuchyate Partha, Nacha Tat Preta no Iha. The first I'll recite in Sanskrit way. Ashraddhayahutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asadityuchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Now, English way, those who doesn't know Sanskrit, so Prabhupada has written as Ashraddhayahutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asat iti uchyate partha. Remember, asat iti uchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. English phrase, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asat iti uchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Please try it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sumati is reading. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha nachatat pretyano eha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy Sad reading. Ashraddhaya utam dattam tapastaptam kritam chaita yat asadit asidichyate partha na cha pratte no iha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to recite the verse?
This is Ashwini. Ashatvaya hutam dattam tapastatam krutam chayatam asati ichute pathe nacha pratyestano iham.
Good try, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This is Valli. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam krutam chayat asadityuchyate partha nachatat pretya no iha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asad iti uchyate partha na cha tat pretya no uyah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to recite the verse? Hare Krishna. So we will move on with the word for word meanings. So Ashraddhaya, without faith. Putam, offered in sacrifice. Dattam, given. Tapa, penance. Taptam, executed. Kritam, performed. Cha, also. Yes, that which. Asat, false. Iti, thus. Uchyate is said to be. Partha, O son of Pratha. Na, never. Cha, also. That. Pretya, after death. Na you, nor iha, in this life. Translation: anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can read it. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it is sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In all the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is why to make everything, that is the way to make everything successful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. Would anybody else like to read the other paragraph?
I can read. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna. In the conditional state, people are attracted to worshipping demigods, ghosts, or yakas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the modes of passion and ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. With that faith matures, when that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of this 7th chapter.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading the purport. So, before we start, so it's said in the translation that without faith in the Supreme, everything is impermanent. So one thing that's really important is faith. Faith is required. And if you want to do something, faith is required. And everyone has a type of faith. Everyone, including atheists, have faith. So atheists believe that there's no God. So everyone has their own faith. But there is no one to prove that there is no God. And it can be proven that God is there. So everyone has a type of faith. And without having transcendental faith, everything which is charity, austerity, and penance that is done, it's actually impermanent. So having faith in the Supreme Lord, which is on the spiritual plane, everything becomes permanent. But everything in the material world is impermanent. So having faith in anything apart from the Supreme Lord becomes impermanent. And in the beginning, in the first few verses, we were discussing about Om Tat Sat. So right now, Krishna says that whatever is done without faith in the Supreme Lord is a sat, and it's useless both in this life and the next. And everything goes to waste. But then Srila Prabhupada writes that one who has taken shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, he transcends the modes, and he gives and to try and to take shelter of a spiritual master. One has to be submissive, and one has to give up preconceived notions about things. And when one takes shelter of a spiritual master, one can gradually be free from the modes of nature and achieve faith in the Supreme. So when we want to have faith in Krishna, we should associate with devotees who have faith and study scriptures. And I also feel that this verse is really important because from the verses of 23 to 28, Krishna tells us about how we should get free from the defects in one's sacrifice, austerity, and severity. So yes, this is what I understood from this verse. So faith is really important. And in the beginning, it's also one of the limbs. When you start when you start Krishna consciousness, faith is important. It starts with Shraddha. Srila Prabhupada translates this as favorable curiosity. And after that, in Nectar of Devotion, we also see that Rupa Goswami translates faith as Nishtaya, which is firm faith. So faith is actually really important if we want to move forward in Krishna consciousness. And a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master in Guru Parampara, we should take shelter of such spiritual masters to be saved from the modes of material nature and to transcend them. So, and this is what I understood. If any more devotees would like to add anything or correct me, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's true. This the verse 28 has a very, very deep meaning of it, doing all devotional services, because without faith, there's no success at all. No. The doubts is a very bad thing to have it, So whoever wanna really get into the devotional service, he has to make first of all that he have in a Sanskrit it's called a Shraddha. Instead of faith, it's called a Shraddha is a more appropriate words. That there is a more alokik, what's a divine, which is beyond our knowledge, is existing there, but I do not understand. Sometimes we do not understand that. And it's beyond our knowledge because we all have a limited knowledge, limited seeing power, limited listening, or limited understanding, So when you go to these divine services or Krishna consciousness, there's many parts of things we probably do not understand. That time, if you have more and more doubts, you're spoiling that things, So that time you should look at that, wait, I do not understand because I don't have the power to understand. So I need a proper guidance to understand it. Otherwise, your devotion service will be totally failure. So many things in scriptures, injunctions, we do not understand. Or we need help to understand that. So not to rush on it and try to find the proper guidance. So some of the statement, I was trying to find the statements of the Guru Maharaj about the faith, but I could not find. So you have to go gradually, slowly, and digest it, Then it's worth to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scriptures, So I truly believe that way. The statement, this is I think one of the very best verse in chapter 28. Hare Krishna. if anybody wants to say something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your realizations. And yes, Prabhuji, I agree that you were mentioning the thing about doubting. And in the 4th chapter, Krishna then reiterates the same thing, saying that the ignorant and faithless people who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is neither happiness in this world nor the next. So yes, that faith is really important. And as Krishna then again, he says over here that for the doubting soul, there's neither happiness in this world nor the next. So yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. It was really nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vikas Prabhuji, Vali Mataji, anything else? Ashwini Mataji, Surrender Prabhuji, anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for your elaboration and discussions, as well as sharing some realizations by yourself and Father Das Prabhu. Just as a service, I'll just add that the chapter starts with Arjun Maharaj's question as to, Ye Shastram Vidhi Mutsrujya. So if somebody does something with faith, but that is not supported by Vidhi, then where does that person stand in that sense, right? And then the Lord goes around explaining in detail the answer to the question that is in Arjun Maharaj's mind. And he elaborates that the faith, the food, the sacrifices we perform, the austerities we perform, the charities we perform, they are all inflicted by the 3 modes of material nature. And the way to come out of that contamination of material modes is to connect things with Krishna. And then in verse 23 it says, do so by chanting Om Tat Sat. And then he elaborates on what the significance of the word Om, the Tat, and the Sat is in the past few verses. But then he ends the chapter here by saying, if you perform these things without faith, then it's useless. The reason he's now coming to faith from Vidhi, because that's where Arjun Maharaj's question started. So I was wondering, what is it? And then it clicked to me that what Krishna is really saying is, if you perform things with faith but without Vidhi, then they can be of 3 different things. You can purify them by connecting them to the Supreme Lord. But that connection is through faith. If there is no faith, that connection will not happen. It's just superficial, right? So that's where I feel that Krishna then makes a distinction that if you do things without faith, these are they are not going to be fruitful. And faith in what? Faith in the Supreme Lord, and faith in the Shastras, the Guru, and the Sadhana. So those are the things that sort of connected to me. And if we ultimately perform things with faith, following Vidhi, then whether it is charity, sacrifice, austerity, all of those things will be transcendental. So that's where I was thinking, Mataji, about this verse and its connection to the rest of the chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing your realizations. Adding to it. Vali Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sumati Mataji. Very nice explanation and wonderful reading also today. You're leading the class and so happy. I know you from childhood, so it is very nice to see you. Like your devotion, like growing every week. I see the difference. So nice. And mainly this verse, that is the conclusion verse, so that I can see that what is all mentioned before in this chapter, it has one key thing to do before attaining the results of that one, right? So that is the faith only, because the faith and devotion go hand to hand. Without faith, there is no devotion, and the people without devotion, they don't know what is the faith is also. They just do the regular as the chores and normal activities as they, according to their senses, how they pull them. The main function of this Bhagavad Gita from the beginning is how to control the senses and how to control our um, thoughts and lead our life in a balanced way, focusing on the Krishna consciousness, mainly the any God consciousness. They are saying now that any God consciousness, or whatever we do, the work, we have to have the faith. With the faith, also we'll get the energy to do the devotion. Without that, we can't focus properly also on either the book reading or any prayers or any listening also. So I remember when we purchase anything, they give the description of everything in detail, in big letters, and in the end they say the terms and condition in very, very small letters. Like, so this purport is like that one for me, because only the key is this one. If you do this, then the other things will happen. So everything needs Shraddha, and Shraddha with the faith together. That gives the results of the previous verses. That's what I'm understanding about the total objective, what we learned, everything, either it is a sacrifice or a charity or anything. We have to understand that we are doing everything to come out of this cycle of birth and death, and only God, Krishna, can help us to pull up from this um, samsara sagara, and read the shloka also, right? So Dhavanala mainly they say that. So that is very hard to do without any help from outside. And Supreme God is there watching us all the time to remember Him. And then the remembrance comes only if we have the faith. So very nicely done, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
And the
Krishna,
other thing
Mataji.
they are explaining is we have to also have the Guru, right? Krishna and Guru. Spiritual master, to get the training also in the proper direction, because without training just like we get the grade levels and the masters and all those things before going to work and do any operations. So to do the practical, we have to have the knowledge of how we do that in future from a spiritual master, and we get the training also. So we have to follow proper rules and regulations in our life. Without that, it's very hard to control the senses or focus on Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for explaining so nicely and giving your realization of this verse. So now we finished the 17th chapter. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the divisions of faith. So as Vikas Prabhuji summarized the 17th chapter, it begins with Arjuna's question and the types of conditioned faith, and after that the symptoms of conditioned faith, and then how we should get free from the defects in one's sacrifice, austerity, and charity. So now we finish the 17th chapter. Hare Krishna, does anyone know the end prayer? When we say at the end of the chapter, Om Tat Sat Iti Shrimad. Does anyone know that? Hare Krishna. So
Hare
we
Krishna.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yeah, one thing, before end the chapters, like our faith, Shraddha should be developed only on the revealed scriptures, Nowadays, many scriptures on a screen, you kind of funny stories they bring about our scriptures, insulting our scriptures, really. So we don't have to follow those, but revealed scriptures like Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam Mahapuran or Ramcharitmanas or Ramayan or Mahabharata, so or Vedas, so we have to be careful where we develop our shraddhas, So it's important about the revealed scriptures. So there are so many business people or printing presses or printing some of the funny stories about it. So there we have to be careful about it. So and one thing if you permit me, one thing I like to tell about when I was reading a really fine uh, story about the Ramakrishna Paramhans. And usually he's quieter and sit down and do chanting or do his sadhana. So guy like me was idiot kind of try to irritate, Ramakrishna Paramhans. So uh, he said, "What are you doing here? All down, sit down and doing nothing. What do you want you to work something? Make some money, earn yourself, live a comfortable." So on and off, many times he just try to irritate him. But Ramakrishna Paramahamsa don't say nothing. And one day he stopped the person, and said, "Sit down, sir. I'll show you what I'm doing." So he picks up the piece of twigs, from there, and he writes a one on the ground. And he asks the person, "What is this?" The person says, "It's a one, nothing wrong. What's about it?" Okay. Then he puts a zero after that. So what is this? It's a 10. Then he puts one more zero after that. So he says, "What is this?" It's a 100. Now he asks, "Why do you call it 100? It's because my parents tells me, everybody says, my teacher taught me, and the whole world says it's 100. Well, why do you call it 100? It's because everybody says so. Yeah, but what is reason? But everybody, why you follow everybody? Because the whole society is saying it's 100, whole world says it's 100. Well, that's how the faith, we just go on a faith of some ordinary things. If there's a chair, we call it chair because everybody says there's $100 bills, so everybody says so, we call it $100 bills. Well, when we come to the talks of the divine things, and we do not understand, then we have become unfaithful to it. So we have to understand that, because the Rishi Munis who have experienced these things and who has written this revealed scriptures, recognized scriptures. So if we try to understand by ourselves, we may not be able to do it, and then have a patience about to understand. That is called a real Shraddha. So, thanks for letting me speak, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Babaji. We should actually should be really careful. We should not be I think I got disconnected in the middle, but I've heard most of it, and that is very true. We should only have faith in scriptures, and there were so many printing presses and stuff outside that we should be careful from. So yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing and adding that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to add what Aladhardas Prabhu, and this is not new. I think everybody has heard about it, but one of the things is what makes the zero that is added become 10, and what makes another zero that is added becomes 100, right? Unless it is connected to that one, otherwise it is still zero. Similarly, whatever we do is actually zero unless it is connected to Krishna. And that is what Prabhupada says, that everything is asat. Asat means not real, because this world becomes unreal when we disconnect it from Krishna. It becomes, yeah. The moment we connect it to Krishna, it becomes transcendental. The moment the zero is connected to one, it has some value. Otherwise, it is zero. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for adding that as well. And when we become connected to Krishna, we also become attend and Everything in this world is Sat unless it's not connected to Krishna. So thank you, Prabhuji, for adding that.
Hare Krishna. And maybe if devotees have interest, I'll just mention a few other things because I was listening to some lectures from other acharyas. So, one of the acharyas, don't remember his name, from the Delhi ISKCON, he was elaborating on this verse and he was saying how different types of combinations can still be fruitless. Why these are fruitless? So he gave example of Jarasangha. So Jarasangha was performing big sacrifice, yajna, and he's also performing charities to Brahmanas. In fact, he fights with with Bhima, because Krishna, Arjun, and Bhima go and ask for a fight in charity. So, what makes his tremendous efforts behind that yajna, where he's imprisoned 20,000 kings, and the charities he's giving to the Brahmanas, not fruitful? Because he's doing it without vidhi, without faith. I mean, yes, charity is on its own perhaps a vidhi, but you can't be imprisoning others and trying to sacrifice those kings to gain your, desires, etc. Similarly, another example was given of Shunda and Upashunda. So the first example is where there is no vidhi and there is no faith in the Supreme. Then the second one is austerity without faith. There is a story of Sunda and Upasunda demons who are from Hiranyakashipu's lineage. And this is in Mahabharata. They both are of equal strength. They both have the same propensities. They are always together. They share everything together. And they perform austerities together. They please Lord Brahma. And they ask for immortality and proprietorship of the three worlds. So Lord Brahma says, I cannot give you proprietorship of the three worlds because you have to die. Like that, I cannot give you. So they say, okay, then if that's the case, then let us not die from anybody else or anything else other than from each other's hands. And again, the point is, then the Lord Brahma creates Tilottama and Apsara, and then they fight with each other and kill each other. So that is austerity without faith. Then he gives another example of something that is done to please Krishna with vidhi, and yet it is not fulfilled. So, it's a unique thing. You're trying to please Krishna. It is done with vidhi, but it is not fruitful. So that is Duryodhana. He tries to please Krishna by creating the most enchanting palaces, rest houses, gardens, gives lots of, palatable foods, etc., on the way for Krishna to the capital. And uh, he's trying to entice Krishna, but the thing is, why is it not successful then? That is because his intention is to actually harm the devotees. He's trying to basically do all of this because he wants to trouble Pandavas at the end. So that also is again not fruitful. So the vidhi may be there, but the vidhi that you should not create aprad is missed. So certain things are always missing from these things, and we should try to look at the different episodes and incidents that are narrated in our histories to think about how these things apply, why something is successful, why something is not successful. I thought this was very nicely explained. Similarly, now think of Karna. He is doing things with vidhi. He is actually serving Parshuram with proper vidhi. He doesn't give up anything. As a Shishya, he is extremely devoted to his Guru. He is doing it with faith. But what kind of faith? Because he's refused the Dhanurvidya by Dronacharya because he's not a Kshatriya. And he cannot approach Parshuram because Parshuram has taken a vow that he will not teach his Vidya to a Kshatriya. So one is saying you are not a Kshatriya, sorry, to anybody else other than a Brahmana. So one is refusing him Vidya because he's a Kshatriya, not a Kshatriya. Another is refusing him the same Vidya because he's not a Brahmana. Yes, very unfortunate. You can say that not fair to him, etc. But at the end, he approaches Parshuram, actually deceiving him, because he says he doesn't say that he's not a Brahmana. He comes there as a Brahmana. So again, the kind of faith, the kind of vidhi we follow, what is the intention? The intention itself partially may be pure, but if it is in the end going to create aparadh, we have to be very careful around these things and then see what leads to success. So the point is, we should have Shraddha in the God, Guru, Shastra, and Sadha. These are at times difficult to understand, and therefore Prabhupada very clearly in this verse says that you need to take the refuge of a Guru, because the Guru knows. And that's exactly what Mataji you were saying. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu's reference even in Srimad Bhagvatam. So Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, they say that there are the 9 steps to Prem Bhakti, but it starts with Shraddha. And similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, verses 16 to 21, also speak of not now 9, they speak of 14 steps. But even there, one of the primary ones is Shraddha. So ultimately, the end of this chapter is really whatever we do, we need to do it with faith and do it as a service to Krishna. Because if these two things are there, the rest of any impurities in anything will actually be removed by Krishna, by his mercy. And that is bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining and being very detailed and elaborate on this verse. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mataji shared only as a service, Mataji, not to add or not to do anything.
Hare Krishna. It's okay, Prabhuji. No, we took this. It was really nice and detailed. And so thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So should we enter? Hare Krishna. If anybody else wants to add anything. Hare Krishna.
If it's nobody wants to say, we're supposed to we're supposed to review all the verses, Mataji, okay?
So,
Yeah, Prabhu, I was thinking since it's 8:05, not sure whether we have time. So maybe the next lesson, we can read the verse and the translation, and we can also provide our own reflection on the entire chapter. So I am with Sumati Mataji. If we can close for today, but come back to read the whole chapter, the verses, the translation, and then share our reflections.
Okay, very nice.
Does that make sense to everybody else?
Hare Krishna, yes, sir.
Yes, of course.
And hopefully next time everybody is able to share their own reflection on what we go through in chapter 70. Hare Krishna.
So let's do the closing statement. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, would you like to take the closing statement of the chapter 17?
I'm interested with closing verse we sing it, So let's close it now. So
The closing prayers, Mataji, if you want.
Mataji, actually don't know this, please. Mataji, can you take the closing prayers? Because I don't know them fully. So
Yeah, it is just here. Okay, Prabhuji, I will try. Thank you. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय,
जय
श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, भागवतम
जय।
की जय। हरे कृष्ण हरे
Hare
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna. I think what Mataji was talking about is the that is recited at the end of the chapters.
praise Prabhuji. Oh, that's that one.
Yeah. So what I have is Atha Sapto Dashodhyayah Hari Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjun Samvade Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Sapto Dashodhyayah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bo.
Very nice service, Srimati Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Very, very good.
Please
Good.
continue. We are very happy to have your association and have you lead us.
Your leadership is good, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I'm really happy to have your association. And I
Yeah,
really like listening from you guys because it's really detailed and it's really elaborate. And
yeah.
it's really nice hearing from you guys. I try to minimize speaking and I really like listening. So
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll see you next Sunday, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare